promise you guys have never seen a 1987 GSX-R750 this clean, ever. Okay, you guys have seen this crazy cat before on my YouTube channel. My longtime friend of 30 years, Rodger Gertson. That is Rodger's 87 GSX-R750.
This bike is a second owner. I got it from another guy.
So when you bought it, what all did you have to do to it to make it that clean? Did it look that good, or did you put new body work on? What all?
Actually, no, the body work is actually, that's one reason I bought the bike, because when I bought it, I could tell it just needed a really good cleaning for the body work, because that's one of the most expensive parts. But I had the bike all the way down to the frame. The engine was still in the frame, but I had it all that far down to detail it, clean it, paint it. The motor's stock. It's got pod filters on, spin rejetted with the exhaust pipe, maybe, I don't know, 100, a little over 100 something horsepower.
Okay. So stock cams, stock everything.
Cams, stock carburetors. Those have been a bulletproof bike for Suzuki from the get-go. They actually endurance raced these motorcycles. And they had the bright idea of taking their race bike and turning it into a street bike. So they did what was necessary to make it street legal. That's the reason for the dual headlights was the thing, because they raced 24 hours, they had to have headlights in it. So it's basically a race bike that they made on the street. And it was the first one to do that. All the other manufacturers had all-out race bikes, but then they had their production bikes were nothing like the race bikes, nothing at all. And everybody thought this is not going to sell because they're real uncomfortable looking. First time I sat on one of these, I thought it was the most uncomfortable motorcycle I've ever been on in my life, because you're in that squat position. But after you ride it for a while, it does what it's supposed to do. It makes it feel like a racer, and turn and stop and accelerate.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that motorcycle right there, that is what started the race replica trend in motorcycles.
This is the first one that I know of. There's a lot of, after they built that bike and started selling like that, then all the other manufacturers, mainly the Japanese, all started building race replica bikes.
Right.
And that's what they started it. 85 is when they first come over.
Just for people who may not know, before that there was like the Eddie Lawson, the Barry Sheens. They took production motorcycles and turned them into race bikes.
Right.
With this motorcycle, Suzuki created a purpose-built race bike and then sold it for street use. It was a complete flip-flop of what had been done in the past, and it changed everything.
And they're still the same bike. They're still just a ball to ride. They still run good, stop good, turn good, wheelie good, everything.
So what people should realize, though, is that even though body work is hard to find and that sort of thing is hard to find for those bikes, they made so many different versions of that same engine. My Bandit, your Bandit, is essentially the same engine, just different displacements, a little bit different cams and cam timing and that sort of thing. So the engines themselves and the parts for the engines are easy to find. It's just a matter of making them look right with the right body work and that sort of thing.
That's true. Those motors have been around now for a lot of years. They're still, well, they've discontinued it in the Bandit, whatever it was.
Yeah, when they went to the 1250.
That's true. That was a water-cooled bike.
Yeah.
These are the old oil-cooled engines. You know?
Yeah, but there was a 600cc version of that engine, a 750, an 1100, a 1200, all based on the same design, and they're all pretty much interchangeable.
Yeah.
So I think those engines will be around, being used for various things for a long time to come.
The really good news about that is, as many of them are out there. Aftermarket companies build parts for them, the engines, to keep the engines going, pistons. You can buy all kinds of aftermarket hot rod parts or just stock parts or whatever. And Suzuki still manufactures a lot of the engine parts because they're in other bikes besides just the GSX-R line.
Right.
I've not had any problem getting parts for those engines.
Yeah.
At all.
Right. All right, man. It's getting busy around here. Thanks for talking about your bike with us.
Okay, Tim. Take care. Edit that out.
Will do.
In late 1984, the GSX-R was finally ready to be unveiled to the world at the Cologne show. When the cover was pulled off of the GSX-R750, everything about the bike from its specs to its appearance electrified the motorcycle industry. This was a radically light, race-ready motorcycle, and something the general public did not expect from Suzuki, who was known at the time to be careful and conservative. The GSX-R750 achieved a 1-2 finish in its World Endurance Championship debut race, the Le Mans 24-hour. And when the bikes began to reach the general public and began rolling out on the road and tracks worldwide, it did not take long for GSX-R's popularity to take off.
さっき言ったね、さっきあそこで言ったように私サイクルワールドのテストでテキサスで24時間耐久行ったんですよ。でその時に750での最高記録を作ったよっていうことになって。